Welcome back to Thrive, your go-to channel for transforming health, revolutionizing indoor air quality, and visionary environments. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below to let us know your thoughts. Here's Sohail Hasnie on building energy prosumption and the potentials of technology.
My name is Sohail Hasnie. I used to work for a large international multilateral development bank, the Asian Development Bank, last 22 years. I worked in 16 different countries. Before that, I was in Melbourne to work for a power company. And during Jeff Kennett's privatization, I was involved in the privatization work with the regulator. But I personally think climate change will be addressed by technology, and I hope it will be like Y2K. So, oh my God, what was that big fuss about climate change soon? But we have to work together. So today, my presentation, I'd like to shake our thinking a bit. I think my industry, the energy industry, coming through a big change. So I'll start with this. I'm trying to be a photographer again after I retired. So you see, if I take a photo today, I already taken 20 photos. Those who are old-time photographers, you know, oh my God, I had a film only 36. If I taken 20 already, what am I going to do? Because today I don't care. This camera, zero marginal cost every photo I take. Storage, zero marginal cost. Yes, there is a cost, but we don't care. And that's exactly what's happening to the power industry. Because of solar power, zero marginal cost. Battery, once you put it in, it's a zero marginal cost. So I'd like to take you through what I think will happen and happening. So how do I flick the slides? Oh, that's right. Okay, so I asked ChatGPT saying, okay, give me a house of a rooftop solar in Sydney, to give the sort of Sydney Harbor and all of those, and in Asia. It did not do a good job, but I think solar will be everywhere. Because if I ask you to now, right now, how many cameras in the room, you'd say, yeah, I know, but you have no idea. Your phones have 3 cameras, you have even a pen can have a camera, everything has cameras. But 30 years back, I would have been a photographer, a producer of the photos, and you'd have been the consumer of photos. Today, you're a consumer, you are taking photos, sharing everywhere. Photographers almost dying, but yeah, they're gone into a very specialized area. And that's what's happening to the electricity industry. So I want to start with 3 conclusions. Again, your industry, I know very little of. So first, I think as we retire coal power generation, the issue of sort of pollution created by fossil fuel will gradually go away because it's really stupid if anybody wants to invest into coal because it's very, very expensive. Autonomous driving will also take away the number of cars. You listen to Tony Severs of the world that average cars run for 50 seconds to 5 minutes, 10 minutes max. Why do we have all the cars sitting? So as autonomous come in, the tire pollution will gradually reduce. And lastly, I believe if electricity becomes free, you can run all sorts of filters in the house and clean up. So this is my conclusion, and I'll try to justify why I think that way. Next slide, please. So first, end of fossil fuel is actually coming. It used to be, the figure used to be 70% of global power gets produced by coal. Right now it's 40. You know, Hazelwood Power Station, Victoria gone, all the Victorian brown coal station, now there is solar sitting on. So that number is changed, it will change very fast. Oil, most of the oil goes into transportation. Electric vehicle is going to change that very big way. Next, please. And why is that happening? The reason is coal is no longer a sort of electricity. Solar is so cheap, it doesn't make sense. And it takes 5 years to build. Are you going to invest your money for 5 years to plan, 10 years to build, and then it becomes stranded asset? Solar, small or bigger, can be built within a year and so cheap. And if you look in IEA forecast that by 2030, 60% of electric vehicles will be electric. IEA is not best known for their forecasts. They have revised their forecast on solar every year. Hockey stick. So this number could be bigger as the momentum picks up. Next, please. So I think the end of fossil fuel is coming. And consumers are consuming and producing with solar power, which you can. Because in Sydney, it costs maybe $9,000 to put a 10 kilowatt system. Next, please. And other thing you can do today, you can even grow hydroponics on your rooftop. So you can, technology is allowing you to become prosumers. You just don't have to just consume. And the needs are growing, technology is helping, and this is all will help climate change, all will help pollution. Next, please. Up, 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 up. Now, zero marginal cost electricity is everywhere. Like I picked up few article from the newspaper. This was, I think, last week. Solar system average, it costs $9,000 to put in a house. 10 kilowatt system. I put mine into Melbourne. 11 kilowatt cost me about the same. And this was from last week. Average cost of house in Sydney about $1.6 million. Big house, single dwelling household. So we have no excuse not to put solar. Next, please. And then you see in California, it's happening right now. Rooftop solar is flooding the system. They're saying it's wasted because grid can't take anymore. Same thing will happen here very soon. Grid can't take anymore. Now, electricity will find other use. Next, please. So simple. If you are a homeowner in Australia and New Zealand, $9,000 to 1.6 million is 0.5% is bugger all. If you think about it, if you sell a house, it will add tremendous value. As soon as you put that solar in, you have access to zero cost electricity. This is my house in Melbourne. I got this data for the last months. It's a daily data. This much I'm producing, selling to the grid, this much I'm using. This is daytime. So nighttime, maybe there's a more consumption. So if you look at this saying, why am I selling this, exporting to the grid at 5 cents a kilowatt hour and buying back at 30 cents? I might just put into batteries. That's a very simple solution. So batteries can reduce our electricity bill to almost zero. And that's the world we are in. And then if you have free electricity, like in my case, rather than selling cheap, I can clean up the air indoors. I'm trying to link back to your topic. Next slide, please. So it would be similar to Tagore's poem. There's a poem about discovering of shoe. The king wanted to cover up the whole city with leather. Then the guy, humble guy, saying, why don't you just cover your feet? So I think, yeah, quality wise, we spend so much time indoor. And if you have free electricity, you can just clean it up. Like a Teslas have now fantastic filters. All cars will have fantastic filters. And electricity is free. You can clean as much as you want. Next, please. So when everyone else is selling, like I was showing that I'm selling electricity in the grid, grid has a problem. Too many people selling. This is a post from LinkedIn. South Australia on that day, PV share went to 50 to 95%. So that day, the rooftop solar was producing 90% of electricity demand in South Australia. And if you look at it in California, during the day, this is the demand 24 hours in the morning, okay, other coming in. When the solar comes in a big way, and in the evening, the batteries are picking up the load. So if we start storing, things will change dramatically as we have more and more. Next slide, please. I have been wondering about this. Australia's rooftop solar total is about 34,000 megawatt. And some of the studies I have seen that if everybody puts solar, it could be as high as 180,000 megawatt. Our national electricity grid is 51,000 megawatt. Just imagine what will happen. So right now, only about 9,000 megawatt, this is, I think, average for the last 28 days, is coming from rooftop solar. If everybody starts doing rooftop solar, eventually this gets filled up. And if you have batteries, this guy gets wiped out completely. I think that's the world we are going to go there, whether we like it or not, because things are becoming cheap and we all like data science, all science, all science. They can.
Can you mute?
And a lot of people say, no, this will not happen. Listen, this is how the solar grew in Australia. Do you think it's going to go flat? No. So I think it's very important to take that part. The assumptions that we make about the power industry is going to change. Our power distribution systems were designed to deliver electricity to the consumers. And that's what the power utilities care for. I used to work for one for a very long time. Consumer have no choice. Right now, that role will change. Maybe we have to start collecting electricity from the consumers as they have rooftop solar and sell it to somewhere else. You see a lot of resistance because we engineers, I have 2 degrees, so I can say that. Engineers don't like this thing, the consumer telling me what to do. We know what is best for you, and especially if we're in government, right? So I think we have to keep an eye on those things. Next, please. So, of course, the question is nighttime, where is no sun? There are 3 hours. I mean, of course, as I said, you just add batteries and you can go, I just Googled it, there are a lot of battery choices. But the one biggest thing that is missing here, a vehicle to grid. Your average consumption in your household, check your electricity bill, is about 12 to 15 kilowatt hour a day. The battery that you're going to put maybe 10, 13 kilowatt hour, but your electric car is 65, maybe it will be 100 kilowatt hour. So if you have your week's consumption in your car, and in technology allows you like Wi-Fi, you may be able to charge and discharge without connecting a cable. You are running a completely different distribution system. And then if you have free electricity, you can clean up everything. If you have everything coming from renewable, air will be clean. So I think a lot of those, again, I'm an optimist here, and I'm also pushing the boundary to create a bit of controversy. So all the major roles, and this is from, I think, 24th of April, just this week, most of the companies are calling about V2G, which is vehicle to grid capability on your car. So when you connect your car, right now only Nissan Leaf does it, your car can charge, your car can charge the house, run the house run. Next, please. And one company, you can look up Omigo. I interviewed the CEO on my podcast. They are planning to do a fantastic thing, which they are saying will integrate an electric vehicle or a set of electric vehicles in an apartment block so that it's a subscription based. You want to go out, just book your car and go. We'll maintain the car infrastructure, everything. It's a fantastic idea. But I think eventually that may be the world we all want to be. Your car is sitting there, you take it out a few hours a day. Why? You can take public transport. And there is a car there, which is community owned. It might cost you 110. We are not the generation that are thinking, why do I need a car? I have a 30-year-old daughter. I asked her, do you want a driver license? She said, I have one, but what I'm going to do, I'm not going to buy a car. She lives in London. She said, yeah, she'll be good. And I think that's the world we are heading in. So we have to think things differently. Next, please. So that's what I think I concluded. And I like to be challenged on this, that as we retire coal power generation, external pollution will be reduced significantly. And then autonomous driving will reduce a lot of tire PMT because most of the PMT comes from tires. And then, of course, if we have free electricity, we can do whatever we want. Thank you very much.